Streaming again. Let's see if that works. All right. Great. Okay, Budget DIY. We have made it live today. And if you're wondering what this screen is all about, this weird picture in picture screen, um, this is the setup I use for my a channel, a guitar teaching channel that you may not know existed. And I thought I could get some of my audience here over to there. It's called Mind's Eye Visual Guitar Methods, and what I use is my unique method. What helped me completely feel like I have a complete grasp of my fretboard and how all the modes work and how to instantly apply them in any key. I finally got a grasp of it, and it wasn't until I used graph paper, and I wasn't taught that. I just kind of came up with it after struggling with other methods of trying to memorize things. It's a long story on how came up with it, but anyways, you'll see on that channel it really spells out. I got some trick methods I've never seen anyone else teach about how to plug in modal information to your fretboard in your mind and get it all in your mind's eye. So it's like really easy to think about it, because that's what it really is about. You just need to have a mental picture of where the next place is. You know, you all know how you are playing in the pentatonic box and there's just kind of some gray area that you just don't go because you don't want to hit a wrong note, right? Well, that doesn't have to happen anymore once you know some simple mechanics that appear in graph paper, some simple geometry, I should say, that can enable you to get across the fretboard. So check that channel out. It's called Mind's Eye Visual Guitar Method. So I guess we'll write that out here. It's a really long name for a guitar channel, so check that out. And then, so before we go today, the big thing about this going live on my this budget DIY channel, which I haven't done anything with in like 2 years, because I haven't built another guitar. Because I don't know if you can see this, but I'll try to show you here. I've got enough guitars. I built the two blue on the end, the red in the middle. I was my first guitar that I totally rebuilt, and then this was a second guitar I bought. A BC Rich is the red one, and then sorry for the twisted camera here. The greenish one here at the end is a Ibanez from China, a Chibanez. So, anyways, and so is that. That was one. That was a pre-built guitar that I still modified, took apart, modified the neck, and put it back on. And then this one, I shaved it down. I shaved the necks down because they were thick, like Fender necks, and that's why you buy an Ibanez for that really thin neck. So I had to plane them down to 18 millimeters myself. The blue one is the same thing, although that was a kit from eBay, which had a really not so good neck. Once I got another neck from the same place I bought this guitar from, I bought a spare neck and put that on the guitar, and it was really cool. It's been really that's a great playing guitar. It's one of my favorites. So I'll plug some of these in and play them for you. Here we go. That's going live for you. There's our camera somewhat reset. There's the other channel to go see here. Let's plug in some guitars here. Here's the what I didn't show you here. I think a guitar that may have been on this channel a few times. This is it 2 years later, still jamming great. I've taken pretty good care of it. I don't travel around with it a lot, but I don't have a case for it, and so still shiny and nice. Body from GFS holding up. Neck from Stu Mac holding up. Hasn't need a whole lot of. I've probably done a couple of with temperature and humidity. Done some setup changes, tweaks here and there, but otherwise it's found a place of stability where it's just kind of hanging out. Doesn't have a lot of problems. Yeah, so and here's the whammy bar. This particular guitar has the best whammy bar I feel that I have because I can pull it up and get a whole nother chord out of it. Actually, it's I got that from the Carl Verheyen method, but what causes the actual notes to change the way they change all from this to become this is how these are stepped. The fulcrum points are different, and they'll create the fulcrum point creates how much of a note you're going to get per the travel of your whammy bar. So the closer it is, the less you'll get. So this one only bends a half step. This one bends a whole step, and this one bends a minor third. Pretty cool, huh? And then the spring claw on the back is adjusted to keep the tension even at all the pivot points for good reaction and no sticking. And I believe that in the video I watched, it was described in a manner that the whole thing was done by the adjustment on this trem claw, and that's not the case at all. It's 100% that fact that the notes change based on their fulcrum point. That gives a different amount of for the same movement. You know, you got from there to there where it buries. It's always the same based on where it returns in floating position. What's different is the fulcrum point. Anyways, for those who don't get or swear by that Carl Verheyen method, at the end of the day, it's all how you understand things and can get things done that matters. So if you don't understand it the way I understand it, well then you can get the job done, you know. Hey. Anyways, so this is my it's here under some different sound settings here. I got the unfortunately with my latest setup that isn't working out, all the pedals are behind me. So let's go over here and sounds called British. I think we're a little overdriven there. That just about did the trick. A little extra bass there, but roll that off there. So yeah, great guitar. I'm happy with that. You know, all that bending. Turn to a nice chord. Even an A chord that plays good with a D chord. Good, man. Check, test, 1, 2. I think my voice needed to be a little louder. Well, you know, I'm going to hear me riff around all day. Let's hear some other guitars. So that's the fake Fender Eric Johnson kind of copy. You know, kind of by look, you know. I think some of the setup is, you know, try to mimic him, but I think we got the Eric Johnson boomers, GHS boomers on there. What else do we do? The tone mod where we the tone control. Something about it controls it that I have no fucking idea anymore. Anyways, wow. But this is, you know, it's kind of fun. Good guitar. Sorry. We got an input jack to tighten there. Here's the guitar. I was playing for a whole bunch of weeks before I plugged my Strat back in and then couldn't unplug it. Because that guitar's great. Second favorite guitar you hear, it just come alive as soon as you plug it in. I like where that guitar's whammy bar is. This one's a little low, but the action is great on this guitar. Sometimes you have to coax it back to its tuning point. It doesn't like to return exactly all the time, but it's still not that bad a guitar. The neck is super thin. I made this. I shaved it down myself. What I did was, as I ran a plane, it wasn't as hard as I thought, honestly. Once the neck was off the guitar and on a nice padded surface, as I ran a plane up and down it, I thought I'd have to worry about waves and, you know, would everything go uneven. It really just kind of, you know, it just kind of kept self-leveling and stayed real nice. And right in between the lines there's tiny lines on a Ibanez neck. And I guess the tiger stripes are what they're called or whatever. And it was all the part of the radius through there. And as I shaved it down, I made it all flat until the flat reached each line. And what do you know, lo and behold, that was right about 18 and a half millimeters, and I stopped there for fear, you know, we could make the neck too weak and break it, but show any signs of being... It's pretty robust. that probably just kicked the shit out of the tuning. Let's see. It's probably already sitting there a little low to begin with. Oh my god. But anyways, I can see here that when I put this guitar down, it needed a little a tuning setup where you just loosen your screws, retune everything, tighten them back up, and then as you set all these back in the middle, and then you can fine tune again. So this guitar is like a little racehorse, and 24 frets, and the dual coil pickups pick up a little more than the ones on the Strat, so I can anything I try rings out. If with a little bit of effort you can sometimes on that guitar I'll try to do that and just it doesn't ring out, or something just didn't pick it up and just didn't sound like what I wanted. You can just kind of you get what you expect on this little monster here. And the thing is, I was white, right? And I had this I wanted to do something to it, and I didn't know what. And I had the body apart, and I thought I had this blue. All I had on hand was this blue transparent paint, and I thought, well, maybe I'll make it like a blue transparent color. Let's see how that looks against the white. And as I put it out, the stuff just fucking ran everywhere. And I said, like, at first spray I did, I'm like, oh my god, I just ruined everything. I got to resand. So then I just went fuck it. And I just went all over the guitar. And I walked away and I let it dry. And when I came back, I'm like, hey, that's kind of like acid wash jeans, or it's Relic. It's kind of like Clouds or Ocean or Pink Floyd Metal album. I thought, that's pretty fucking cool and unique. And it goes with the Perloid. So I'm like, fucking keeping it. So it's got this weird swirly blue, marbleized kind of paint effect here. Dull. Could use some gloss, but it's a scratched up. It's just this is a bang around guitar. It's like a hot rod. So, real happy with my home built kind of Ibanez-ish copy hot rod. Let's go to the other Ibanez. Now this one here is cool. This one's a little lighter than that one. It's a little bit more authentically detailed than the other one. These necks, when they came, they didn't have the radius wasn't all the way up to the joint here. It was kind of like out. There was like a lip or something, and that's not how they come. So I shaved all that off, and now it all matches up. But this guitar has been a little problematic, and of course, whenever you get something that like looks totally awesome, and it's just the trade-off, then it's not going to play good, right? At the end of the day, it could probably stand to someday put all new authentic hardware in this thing because it looks the part. It's a beautiful looking instrument. And appears to be fantastically out of tune. Let's see what's going on here. This one has the authentic spot where you plug it in on the back, which I liked about it. My other one has just got a standard plug it in at the bottom like a Gibson or something. Alright, so I haven't played this one in quite a while. I believe I encountered a fret issue somewhere up here that needed to have the neck cut off, or maybe it was down here. I can't even remember. Live on camera. Budget DIY smashing his guitar. Looks like I have some strings here that just popped out of their respective guides there as I yanked on that whammy bar like a madman. So that's what you get. You pick up a guitar that hasn't been played in a long time and start yanking on it. So yeah, like I said, a little problematic, right? So there's my fun guitar, cute guitar. When I can get it to play good. Oh my god, this thing's pissed off. Like, you never play me. You left me for the other, and I'm the one. Only on my live channels. Absolute insanity, craziness. The unedited world of me. This guitar here, I think, was this the... Not the first one I built. I think it was the first one I built. I can't remember. No, the Fender was. I have no idea. This was the first build. Anyways, something I'm always proud of. This is like a PRS kind of ish guitar with a Dragon inlay. Now the thing with this Dragon inlay is it's not as craftily done as the Tree of Life inlay is on the Ibanez. That was a very thoughtful design there. When you play that guitar, even though it's got that weird pattern on it, within that pattern there's enough key shapes and sizes that you can always know that you're on, 135. You can always know where your frets are. Where this one, you better stick with your fret markers, because looking at the fretboard, it's just it doesn't have a lot of, there's no visual cues. It's just a design that was, looks really cool, but doesn't help you navigate as well as it could. Plug-in in this guitar is in a kind of a weird spot, but there it is, and it's a little tight. There's that. It's happy if you can't really see it, but there's a Tiger inlay there. It's really dark though. I got it to be a little glossy, and then it's scratched, and I just kind of don't care. Pretty light guitar. It's like a medium weight. It's not bad. I haven't played it in a long time, so we're not going to jam the whammy bar. E string way out there. Well, the whole guitar nowhere near any standard tuning. I can tell by how loose the strings feel. It's way, way, way low. But anyways, it just hasn't been played, and as you can see, it's probably the guitar I can play the fastest on. So, and then the neatest, the fastest. So, definitely has some merits to it. I really do like playing this guitar, and I'm surprised I don't play it as much as I do. Yeah, I just pick it up and it's musical. So definitely a good guitar. I picked it up and just wanked on it. It's not flying apart. Strings aren't blown out of it. The same exact tremolo system too, and strings not looking all that great. And I just don't know why that light green guitar is cursed with all those technical issues all the time. It's because it's a fake counterfeit you have stolen from Ibanez. I know you're thinking that. you got the full picture of just what you get with a Ibanez. Unless you. So, this guitar here is also. I'm proud of how it plays. It's just so boring and basic, and doesn't have the greatest pickups. So I definitely hardly ever play this one. But for a while, when I got sick of my first guitar, which I eventually I'll tell you about that one in a second. Anyways, this was my second guitar and played it a lot, but I always wanted a better guitar. So once I got better guitars, this one sat by the wayside. One time I went through it and worked all my new setup stuff on it, and I loved the way it played after that. See how it's doing today. So this has got on this one I decked the whammy. It's pretty tight to the body. I also installed a brass block on it, and not for this guitar. I think this might have been better on another guitar, so I'm not super thrilled with it. It's heavier than what was there. I think it gave it some more sustain or oomph, but this is probably one that's been set to E flat. I usually have one guitar. It's usually this one, but. Sound. I'm getting some dead bends here. Watch this. Now we'll bend it, and the note dies. Oh, we got a high fret in there. You know, when they sit around, sometimes they just start popping out from where they are. By the way, the reason I don't sell it is because this is the guitar I brought to the House of Guitars when Steve Vai was there signing things, and Steve Vai's signature is, you can see part of the V is left, and if you're close, you can see the shadow of where the marker was, and way down here, long gone, to my greatest thanks, Eric Johnson signed it down here. And probably to his happiness, that's faded away. So yeah, I thought it was really cool about Steve Vai's signature. This kind of like was reminiscent of the guitar he played in well, obviously Crossroads, but nothing close. I mean, this is a BC Rich Rave 2, as you may know if you're a guitar person. That's just a very, very cheap BC Rich from the 80s, like all the other guitars I have, just cheap versions of cheap guitars. But either way, has been the action is low, really actually very low action on this guitar. guitar for like legato. We need to wax the neck up a little bit. It's a little sticky, but yeah. Oh, and then the stickers on there. Speaking of sticky, watch for wires. I was working at Electronic Place. I thought that'd be a cool sticker for the guitar. My hot rod stickers, Holly equipped, Edelbrock. Ha ha ha. You know, look at that, some kind of hot rod guitar. So there you go. There's that guy. I'm gonna, well, 2 more guitars here. We'll get back to actual builds, hence budget DIY guitar. Things that I actually built from a kit. Now this one right here is an interesting one because this is, of course, as you see, another Strat. This one I chose the rosewood fingerboard and painted it a cool baby blue kind of color, reminiscent of classic Strats. Set it up, vintage, spaced, tremolo, which I really think is cool. So I've got the strings on this guitar sit about 1 millimeter apart, and then I'll tell you what was really neat about that. The kit, what was special about this guitar, or different than my other Strat build, was that that I invested money in. It wasn't Warmoth money, whatever you call that company, with the real expensive parts, but everything cost me, between the $80 here and the $90 there. Spent $390 on that guitar. Just the parts were probably $190. This was a $30 kit. $30 kit. Maybe it was a $50 kit. I don't remember. I can't remember. Some unbelievable deal. So a few people bought them. A lot of people got some funky stuff. I got a one with a bad tremolo, which totally worked out great, because this is the neat thing. I had this other trem laying around. I bought this wide space tremolo because I really wanted to make that vintage guitar, that Eric Johnson copy that I showed you in the beginning, to be like really classic feeling. And was disappointed that the StewMac neck is just 1 millimeter thin enough, and the finish on the frets is just round enough to where at the edges here that string would just fall off so easy. It wasn't playable, so that was disappointing. But I got a Wilkinson tremolo on that one, that with a modern spacing. And that's what I showed you how great that trem works. And so the spacing, everything just worked out for that guitar. And then the neat thing was that this one I had laying around when this one came in and had a crappy trem in the box. I threw this one on thinking, wow, it's a $30 guitar. If it slipped off an $80 neck, what's it going to do on a $30 guitar? And you know what? This one was spaced perfectly for it. It's got plenty of meat on each side. I don't know if it's because there's that because there's an whatever this is, rosewood fretboard on there, and it's a different piece of wood. It's machined more square, where the other neck, since it's one piece of wood, is machined to where as the bottom of the neck comes up, it starts to curve back inward at the top, like if it's carved out of a circle or something, where this one comes up like a C shape. It doesn't taper in at the top, so it just comes up straight, and that leaves it just a millimeter extra on each side to support the strings having plenty of meat at the top and the bottom. The drawback to this tremolo, it's like a classic one. Look at the whammy bar here. I really can't stand this in whammy bars. Check it out. Look at all that play. Doesn't do anything. Now, however, if I do shake a chord up, it gives you don't notice the play in the sound, but it's not as controllable. And this guitar has action that's pretty high, and the frets are kind of sharp at the edges, so definitely was a $30 guitar, but sounds all right. Wrong chords, trying to... Jacob's Ladder, something like that. Anyways, too much distortion for that. Here's the tone rolled off. That's a middle pickup, and the tone control controls the middle pickup. There's no tone on the last one. This one also has that Eric Johnson mod, and that's what it is. No tone on the bridge pickup. Limit on this one right after that 19th fret, man. We're done. But the sound is great. There was the neck pickup with the tone rolled off. Here's the tone rolled up. Here's both neck and middle. Not a whole lot of strattiness to it. Hold on a second here. I'm going to put on a twin reverb sound. Middle pickup. That's much better. Sorry about all that distortion. Neck pickup. Here's the bridge pickup. Not too much shine. Let's do the neck and middle, or bridge and middle. There's a little bit of that nasal twang. See if we got that Verheyen chord change. We want to go from here to here. Oh, this one is even better than the other one. So this one needs to go here. This one needs to go all the way up a flat third. Something went a little out there. Probably just from having just been sitting around a long time. One thing about this guitar, the final thing is probably needs new pickups. Use what came in the box. They got a reasonably stratty flavor, and they're not bad, especially here in the home studio. But I've noticed if I try to play it loud with an amplifier, this thing screams. Where some of my other guitars appear to be shielded much better and don't offer the feedback that this one does in the microphonic kind of mess. So unfortunately, it's pretty much a lot like a really old wanked out Strat where probably could use some updated stuff. Anyways, let's put that away and go for a final guitar here so I can get on with my day here. And that is this guitar that started the whole building process. I realized at one point I needed tone. And I needed Strat tone, and I wanted it fast. So as I think I've explained that in another video where I talked about this one. I ran out and dug this one out of the garage, and it was just still together, but you know, a mess of a guitar that hadn't been played in 20 years. So this one uses no tremolo. It probably has the lowest action of any guitar I have. Why this guitar has the hot rod action, I don't know, but it's just simply the setup works on this one. It's got a variety of sounds and the pickups work. Okay, so what we have on this guitar is what's happened is this nut is just a mess, and the D string's gone too low. If I can get another nut on there, this guitar is going to be great, but at some point I had a guitar tech work on lowering the nut, and they did kind of a sloppy job. So I think in their mind they wanted it to be like a high action Stratford, and they were all put off that it was in the late 80s and all the hot rod stuff was starting, and they didn't realize what kind of guitars 16-year-olds wanted. Anyways, that's it for the video, because this guitar's, when the string will work, oh my god. As you see, this guitar's got a nice selection of tone available, and the playability is really cool, and there's just a lot of great things to it. But every time you let it sit, you just gotta set it up, and you gotta play it, and it's gotta be wants to be the only guitar. You let it sit for a while, and it just gets all funkadelic again. But this time we know what it is. It's the nut here. We just need a new nut. So definitely worth it, though, for an old... The thing is with this guitar, it's just an old Hondo Fame. It would just otherwise be like, hey, just throw that guitar away. It's basic crap, But it's got great, cool sounds, and the playability is excellent. So why throw it away? And it's got some hot rod pickup. I don't know, some neighbor made that years ago and gave it to me, and I don't even know what it is or what was done to it, but it's a little hotter, I guess, than what was in there before. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you heard any of that playing, you thought, hey, that's really all over the fretboard or something, check out how I visualize the guitar fretboard with Mind's Eye Visual Guitar Methods. That's the it's probably S at the end. Method, I don't know. It's you'll find it, and like and subscribe, and do set up a go to Patreon and support this jazz. So if you do that, more guitars can be built, better cameras can be had, better camera angles showing you exactly what we do, how we do it, how easy it is to get a guitar set up and built for yourself. If I can do it, you can too. If you got like a drill and a couple of basic, in the drawer tools. Okay, let me know any feedback below, any questions, comments, suggestions. Just leave them all over the channel. I'm sure I'll get them. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.